Hello, and welcome to Paint the Past. I'm your host, Amaris. Today we're going to look at a lost Bronze Age city buried by volcanic ash more than 3,600 years ago, where someone owned this extraordinary little ibex made of pure gold. At only 11 centimeters long, it may be a small artifact, but it's beautiful, and more importantly, a remarkable survivor representing the culture, life, and dramatic end of a sophisticated but now vanished civilization. This exquisite statuette of an ibex, a type of wild mountain goat, was discovered during excavations in 1999 in the prehistoric Minoan city of Akrotiri on the Greek island of Santorini. It was found inside a clay chest, which itself was inside a wooden box, next to a pile of animal horns, suggesting it was carefully stored before the natural disaster struck. The finely crafted ibex was made using the lost wax casting technique, where the shape of the item being created is first sculpted in wax. The wax figure is then encased in wet clay, which is fired, hardening the clay into pottery and melting away the wax, hence the name lost wax. This process creates a pottery mold into which molten metal can be poured to form the final metal object. The body, legs, neck, and tail were made as separate pieces and soldered together, and a clearly skilled artisan hammered the final details. Because gold is chemically unreactive, it does not corrode, and survived both the fiery eruption and millennia of being buried in the ground. The purpose of the ibex figurine is not entirely clear. It could have been a sacred votive offering symbolizing fertility or prosperity, or perhaps it was a luxury object representing status or connection to the gods. Scholars of the region's iconography believe ibexes and goats often held deep symbolic meaning tied to the natural and spiritual world, making it unlikely that the ibex was merely decorative. To more fully understand the golden ibex, we need to go back over 3,500 years to Thera, the ancient name for the island known today as Santorini. Santorini is one of a group of islands called the Cyclades, located in the Aegean Sea, south of the Greek mainland. Back then, the island was quite a bit bigger than it is now, and was home to an advanced Bronze Age civilization. It was an outpost of the Minoan people, who are better known from the legend of King Minos and the Minotaur, and the archaeological sites on their home island of Crete, and who were part of the wider Cycladic culture of the Aegean Sea islands. The town of Akrotiri itself flourished during the Middle Bronze Age, becoming a cosmopolitan port city with cobbled streets, multi-story buildings, and even indoor toilets with sophisticated sewer systems. Its inhabitants were skilled seafarers, artisans, weavers, jewelers, and traders, who were connected by the exchange of goods and ideas with Crete, Cyprus, mainland Greece, and the wider eastern Mediterranean region. Every corner of the city was filled with vibrant frescoes depicting nature, marine life, and ceremonial scenes. They are remarkable visual records of Bronze Age aesthetics and beliefs. Unfortunately for Akrotiri's inhabitants, however, the good times were not to last. Around the 16th century BCE, disaster struck. Santorini is a volcanic island, and it experienced a massive eruption, one of the largest in human history, that buried Akrotiri under meters of volcanic ash and pumice. The eruption ejected somewhere between 13 and 86 square kilometers of rock into the atmosphere, and it would have lasted for weeks. The island was left as a crescent of land around a large bay formed by the volcano's caldera. This brutal event obliterated life in Akrotiri, but paradoxically preserved many buildings and artworks in incredible condition. Unlike Pompeii, no human remains have been found at Akrotiri. Evidence suggests that the inhabitants may have evacuated before the eruption, perhaps tipped off by earthquakes that preceded it. The result is one of the most remarkable archaeological time capsules of the ancient world. There are streets, rooms, molds of furniture, striking frescoes, and gorgeous figurines, all preserved beneath the hardened ash. Part of Akrotiri's global fame comes from its frescoes, extraordinary wall paintings that let us visualize Bronze Age life. Examples of these include the boxer fresco, showing two youths wearing boxing gear and hinting at athletic or ceremonial sports practices. The fisherman fresco, celebrating maritime life. The antelope fresco, with graceful animals rendered in bold lines. And other depictions include sea voyaging, rituals, and landscapes that connect everyday life with the mythic understanding of the time. These works were created with mineral pigments on plaster, surviving millennia because of the volcanic burial. Such richness suggests a complex society that valued art, nature, and exchange, not just functionality. Walls of homes and public buildings alike were canvases for artistic expression long before such practices became widely visible in the historical record. Now let's come back to our golden ibex. This figurine is unique, the only gold object found at Akrotiri to date. It may have been a sacred emblem, an offering to mountain gods, or a symbol of good fortune. Ibex figures occur elsewhere across Aegean art, but the meticulous attention to detail in this piece suggests a special purpose and prestige. It was placed in a clay larnax, a type of storage or burial chest, and hidden before the eruption, indicating its value to those who lived there. In terms of craft, the lost wax technique reveals an advanced knowledge of metallurgy and artistic design that challenges assumptions about technological sophistication in pre-classical Greece. Today, Akrotiri remains one of the most important archaeological sites in the Aegean. Excavations, which have been ongoing since 1967, have reshaped our understanding of Bronze Age urbanism, artistic practice, and cultural exchange across Mediterranean civilizations. Artifacts like the golden ibex help us bridge the gap between material culture and ancient belief systems. Rather than being static relics, these objects were part of living worlds, experiences, rituals, and daily routines that were abruptly stopped by catastrophe, but preserved by it as well. And because Akrotiri was not a palace or military fortress, but a vibrant settlement of houses and workshops, it offers a rare biographical snapshot of a community of regular people, their tastes, aesthetics, and priorities. As this painting nears completion, let it remind us that objects like the golden ibex are more than archaeological curiosities. They're storytellers, hinting at past societies. The ibex tells us about people who appreciated beauty, understood symbolic meaning, and worked with creativity and skill far beyond what we might expect from a culture existing 3,500 years ago. And while it's no consolation to the people who called Akrotiri home, it's an example of catastrophic destruction preserving an exquisite time capsule for us to learn from and marvel over today. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the Bronze Age. If you enjoyed our little trip, I'd be thrilled if you'd join me for future episodes. See you next time!